Universe presents Hidden Features in Your Keyboard. Number 1. Height.
To go. He's going to elbow drop them into oblivion here for this one. Those are the predictions coming out from the desk as all these teams are getting ready to go. I'm not sure that they're ready to jump straight into this game just yet, Seven. So we do have a few moments before we get to this, but it's always nice to get some predictions out of there just before what is a bit of an insane situation here, Nepturo.
Can I just, how bad would it be if I changed my prediction to Falcons?
What?
Championship.
Nope, stop you. Stop.
I had to throw it out one last time. They did win the last match, but I know it's not going to happen.
What?
What?
I mean, one that you ended up picking, Max, Weibo Gaming, something that I did enjoy out of that last match from them. Remember, throughout the whole day, this team was playing slow. We were saying at one time it was a little bit too slow. With the fight that they took against Power, that aggression was there, and I feel like that's something that they need to have here. They need to have that switch coming into this last game.
That's been something that has been just switched up to 11 for today. Their aggression, they're looking to take fights. They knew especially how many points they needed to get into the Smash Zone. They know now you don't take unnecessary fights. You need to get into the late game, get into the top 8, your top 5, your top 3, get into the late game scenario and get the actual win. If they can also just get high elimination game, maybe it could work out, but all the teams can make it work in the end of this match.
I started the day asking if it was going to be the destiny, if it was going to be the dream, or will it be destruction? It turns out Weeaboo is about to potentially cause destruction here as we have the volcanic conclusion of PMWC underway for 2025. Seismic shifts on the table to close down our penultimate match. Weibo break into that Smash Zone. They will join Yangon Galacticos and Alpha Gaming with a chance here in the final match of the PMWC. It's all to play for.
Here it is, the last chance, the last dance, our guaranteed final map. 3 teams have fought tooth and nail. They have given it their all to end up in this very spot, to become champions, to cement their names in PUBG Mobile history. The question is, who has it in them to close it out? All that work to not be for nothing, all that work to gain something you can never lose, to be a champion. Yangon Galacticos, Weibo, Alpha Gaming, all 3 of those rosters are going for gold. and it's only going to be one of them as champions. We also had a chance to ask our talent managers who they were predicting to take this game, and it was Alpha Gaming. So Alpha Gaming pretty much across the board, not only from a talent perspective, but also from our talent managers. Now the question is, Arena, who's winning it? Is it Weibo Gaming? I think so, maybe. Alpha Gaming have a chance. Yangon Galacticus, everybody's got their fan base. Everybody's got the opportunity to cheer and get loud. They need your energy. Get loud in the arena, because it's time to get our final game started.
What a way to close down the tournament. A 3-team chance, a shot at that trophy. It's been glittering and glimmering before their very eyes for the last few days, and they now have a chance to raise it. Or will their key drop into the key crusher along with 14 others? It will have to remain to be seen as we take a look at where our drops are coming on through. At the moment, I'm seeing Weibo. They're out over the center part of this plane path, which has a fairly northern situation. Alpha Gaming on the south side.
Okay, so for Yangon Galacticus, they changed it up before. Do they go up north, where they've been so familiar, and it looks as if they will, which again puts that narrative. Hora, Falcons potentially gatekeeping them, and this is scary. You change it up last game, yes, you go towards the south, but this time around for Hora and Falcons, maybe a bit personal. Keep them at bay, shut them down. You have to be expecting them to rotate into you. So for Yangon Galacticus, they've got to get creative, and one thing they love to do again is stay in blue and then drop down south. So most likely going to see them making their way into stage 2, stage 3. For APG, however, they are within zone, but they've got company all around them.
Hey, look at that. 1 point immediately earned. Tiebreaker back on in action. And I think that means that Weibo do win the tiebreaker. I believe they've got one more chicken dinner than Alpha Gaming, if I'm not mistaken, having earned the back-to-back that they've been able to find today. So they are sat on 2 chicken dinners. 139, of course, that will be the tiebreaker, unless Alpha Gaming win. But then it's a non-factor because they win via the smash ruling. Oh, there's so many interlocking rules. I love logistical, bureaucratic nightmares on points tables. It's what I live for.
And just to confirm, it is Weibo with 2 wins, Alpha Gaming with 1. So something to take effect a little bit later on, but all eyes, of course, on these 3 great rosters. You know, you got one starting off relatively hot, of course, being Weibo, or it should be APG, getting a first shot, but that also puts a target on their back, right? Shots are fired, teams are getting active, which might be in the back of the mind of the other rosters thinking, I want to third party this because this is our last chance to elevate ourselves up the leaderboard.
Absolutely. There's a lot of money that's mixed in the middle of the tables. Obviously, the 3 teams at the top have taken a lot of points, but the points gap between teams like Regnum Karya all the way down to Team Secret, right? So 4th to 12th. That drop-off could be there, right? And that is a pretty sizable chunk. 4th place is $120,000, and then you go down to 12th at 45. With a single game, they can change things around, earn more, drop down. It's a lot of wiggle room here.
Without a doubt. And for Regnum Karya, they have been the boogeyman of, well, APG over the past couple of maps. This time around, they take down Krypton from Alter Egos. A guy that clutches up, a guy that you want to stay alive. Does it impact the standings? Well, potentially. Alter Egos could pass DRX, 4 thrives, maybe even Regnum Karya themselves. So for Regnum Karya, taking down 1 from Alter Egos, and in my opinion, the tip of the spear, albeit outside of Rosemary, that puts Regnum Karya in an even safer spot.
Absolutely. They're going to feel a little bit safer as time goes on. Behind them, of course, the Falcons coming off of a chicken dinner. You know what? I was kind of surprised that Neptura decided to predict them for the tournament win. Not because they're so far down the tables, but because they're not Team Spirit. And of course, Neptura loves Team Spirit. Favorite team. Unfortunately, they didn't even make it out of CSA.
That's right. Team Spirit, rest in peace. Neptura, keep sending your love to them. Maybe they'll come back next year.
Absolutely.
I do want to point out Weibo, however, pretty centralized in the zone. DRX do start to move in relatively close to them. That's going to be a fun one to potentially watch. But for Weibo, they're going to try and stay as quiet as possible, but they can also gatekeep a couple of rosters. And Auction Red Force, DRX Ida, maybe Thunder Talk, who's a little bit further away. For Yangon Galacticus, again, staying up towards Trailer Park, they're going to stay there for a long time. They're going to play it slow. They're not going to get too antsy because, again, you've got Falcons and Aura, which, for Thrives, are they maybe thinking about challenging Falcons? You do have T24s getting relatively close.
Could potentially be just scouting out, trying to navigate those rotations out east. In the meantime, though, in the center of this circle, just around Hacienda del Patron, around San Martin, Weibo Game. Currently looking for position. We know what's on the line for this team. The tiebreaker order goes Yangon Galacticos, followed by Weibo, followed by Alpha Gaming. That will not change because with the chicken dinners sitting as they are, that's the order of the tiebreakers. And of course, if any one of them increases their chicken dinner score, they win the tournament by the smash rule.
That's right.
So that tiebreaker order will be in effect throughout the course of this one. And it could very much come down to those chicken dinner differences.
Right, so T24 still close, but not close enough to really have an effect on this Falcons rotation. And for Team Falcons, you know, we've been talking about them dropping the ball and struggling, and yes, they will not be champions today, but this final game, if it's good enough, could elevate them up in the top 5. So that still is a storyline. They're not too far away. It's not impossible for Team Falcons to get a top 5 finish, which, by the way, again, in regards to the club championship race, Falcons need a top 8 finish. They're currently in 9th place. So this is a big moment for Falcons in the overall scale of things for the club championship race to have a good performance.
Adding to that tally is great. They can keep contributing to their team to be able to try and pick that one up. You hope that they can do it. I'm sure there's plenty of fans at the arena who want the Falcons to do it as well, to help out on that club championship tally.
Love seeing the fans. Hey, peace to you. Great to see you. Getting excited, getting happy. Some of them getting loud. Yes, let's get it going. The final game. Yangon Galacticus start to move in. This is very typical of their style, but again, you've got Falcons who might keep them at bay, and if they choose to drop south, which is their typical game plan, Fourth Thrives right in front of them.
They're moving on in on the west side towards San Martin for the Falcons. We're still waiting on Alpha Gaming, Yangon Galacticos to make their appearances. Of course, Yangon Galacticos, they're in the blue zone. Currently, actually, fairly close to it, all things considered, for them, certainly. They're quite close to this zone. Yangon Galacticos playing out on the south side of El Pozo, and will navigate the bubbly terrain there. He bobbles his way forwards. It's difficult. I hate driving over this terrain. It's so confusing. You never know if you're going to flip your vehicle or not.
From now on, when I'm driving down a bumpy road, I'm just going to bubble over the potholes. That's right. That's my strategy.
Yep.
John, I like it. New terminology. They decide to go up north, that's great for them. And north really has no competition if they decide to commit towards water treatment, which could be a great spot depending on how quickly they get over there. But there's a lot of terrain and a lot of distance between them and that. APG also staying south. They're going to be in blue currently, and they have a free route towards the north. Both rosters, I believe, currently waiting for this next stage to pop, and it does encompass water treatment, which again opens that up maybe for Hora, who's going to be the closest. They can overtake that. YG might be able to move up, but for APG, I mean, so tightly contested. Yes, a free route in, but they've got to go in between Fourth Thrives, E-Arena, and then ultimately, of course, Nocturne Red Force, Fireflux, so many rosters, and the same thing can be said for Yangon Galacticus. This is great for Weibo. Weibo's still dead center. They're established. They don't have to move, but is Order by himself?
Maybe. I mean, they are fairly split right now. The question is, how long can Weibo hold this split in the center of this circle? Falcons are going to push in on the north. Regnum Kaya from the other side as well. They're looking to try and move on in. Otter on that northern edge could get in the middle of it, get stuck in there. Thunder Talk, everybody trying to get closer towards the east side of San Martin, towards Hacienda del Patron.
Alter Egos also started to move in from the northern side. Curious where Yangon Galacticus choose to go. For APG, this is going to be a tough rotate for them. I'm genuinely getting worried at this moment because going up north, there's so many teams playing Edge, Fourth Thrives, Ida that they'll have to run through. Any of those fights taking place, again, this is the final game, and so many very close to catching up in the top 5 or even bettering their spot. You move up one spot in the standings, that's potential thousands and thousands of dollars in differences when it comes to the prize money. A very real reason to win a third party and fire some shots safely from a distance. And for APG, I don't know. They've got to go up north, but it's still a long rotate for them. For me, I'm putting them on alert.
There's a lot of danger in this final match here of the PMWC. The grand finals continue to deliver on the excitement towards this final match as Yangon Galacticos navigate their way up the west side, over the top of San Martin, up and into the hills. It looks like Weibo are going to try and hold on the Manor House as well, and play in the center of Hacienda.
Still, that split worries me, especially if the team decides to go in between them. That's going to get quite awkward, but for Weibo, still all 4 up. Not ringing the alarm bells just yet for them. Yangon Galacticos starting to move in. They're going to be just opposite of Falcons again, who are all split.
Alpha on the west side. Look at this rotate.
Right.
They're swinging out and could potentially backfill on towards Yangon Galacticos here around the west side of San Martin. This fight feels inevitable. We could remove one of our 3 teams here and now.
Yeah, well, I mean, it makes sense, right? You go back, several maps now, and it's been Yangon Galacticos fighting against APG. The 2 teams cannot stay away from each other. Like magnets, they're drawn, but we do see maybe a bit of an audible as they start to rotate right towards Noxium Red Force. But the good news is for them, they avoid 4 thrives, and they now have clearance to now get in to the next zone. But as they just get here, the next zone is about to shift. The question is, where does it go? But that's not too bad. That's not too bad. But Noxium Red Force is gatekeeping the outer edge, and APG still needs to go forward. They go north, they go into YG. If they go south, they go into 4th Rise. If they go east, it's straight into Noxium Red Force.
Oh, Doc has been spotted, I believe, out on this western side. Gonna have to be careful, and Smile gets Doc down. He's going to find that knock, and it is just time and time again that he has dropped the ball for APG. And finally, it may be the death blow dealt towards Alpha Gaming.
Said I was ringing the alarm bells, and now they are sounding as loud as they possibly can. Losing Doc hurts. But for Alpha Gaming, a chance still remains with 3 players up, but you just gave an elimination to the team you're fighting against. For Hora, they start to push in for Team Secret, trying to hold on tight. They cannot, and they will be eliminated in the final game of the tournament.
Hora able to stay alive with 2 players down. The reses will come through. This circle is giving Weibo a massive in on this match. The 2-2 split that they have right now should be fairly trivial to hold as it stands in this circle. The teams that surround them, that are creating this buffer zone, not super likely to want to crash right now. So they will definitely be solid to hold this 2-2 split into the next zone. Let's take a look at this replay. Doc hops out, and